Good morning and Assalamu alaikum, dear audience. We have the good afternoon, and there in UK, it must be good morning yet. We have a very special guest with us today, Mr. Ajlal Bukhari, uh, who has a great, journey of. He would be sharing himself. I would start with the introduction. Ajlal bhai, over to you from where you actually belong to, and then how did you do your earlier education and further on, please. Over to you.
Right. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone, all the listeners and watchers, whoever are watching us from wherever in the world. So, very good afternoon to everyone. Yes, I'm a born Lahori, and I was born in Lahore, and so far half of my life I've actually spent in Lahore. So, I did my early education. That was from Divisional Public School in Model Town. That's where I lived and still live. Actually, my family home is still in Model Town. And then I moved on. I did my metric from Jinnah Foundation High School. That's again in Model Town. Moved from there, like not moved from there. Then I got my FA from Government College Lahore, which is Government College University now, GCU. And back in the days, it was only Government College Lahore. And I did my FA in maths, stats, and French. And then I moved to England to study films, and the journey started from there. And apart from that, basically, when I was young, when I was, I think, about 7 years old, I did my first drama as an actor on TV back in 1988. And then since then, I've been acting as well. I've been acting on TV. I've been acting on radio. I've been an RJ on the radio as well. And um, I've done commercials, I've done a film. So I've been it till that time. I mean, 99, 2000 when I left Pakistan. Until then, I had actually done all that. So I've done the movie, I've done the theater as well. I had done the acting as well.
That's great. That's really wonderful. So, how did you come towards, film and this all? Even, earlier we were speaking that there was a family pressure as well.
Right. Okay. Although my father, he's an actor. He's been in the industry for over 55 years now. Asim Bukhari. So he's been in the industry for a long time, and I think since childhood, obviously, when I was acting, I mean, I started acting at the age of 7. So this field attracted me all the time. So I thought this is something which is for me, and I wanted to do something in the field of drama, that I wanted to make dramas, that I wanted to make films. So when I did my FA, I moved to England to study, and I thought, I mean, the course I was enrolled was film history, and I studied film history. So I did my foundation in film history, and I wanted to study. I wanted to pursue a career in filmmaking. So I wanted to become a filmmaker. But because of family pressure, because back in the days, I mean, I don't blame my family for that, because in early 2000s, I will say in Pakistan before Musharraf's time, it was only PTV, and they could not see a scope in the industry at that time, and that this is going to be bigger as compared to what it is now. I mean, mashallah, it's gone big, and it's getting better every day. But obviously, parents they think better of you, and they say, oh, at that time in 2000, year 2000, IT was the field which everybody was going in, and everybody wanted to do something in computers. So I was basically forced to quit films and then get into IT. I became a bit of a rebel, and I said, "Nay, bene nahi parna." So I actually quit studies after that. And there have been some, obviously, I started working in the UK. Things are different. You're working, you're making money, then, you don't worry about your education. You're getting your experience and everything. But then at one point, I did feel that education is really important, so I got back into education because there was a longer gap. So instead of getting into full time education, I started with some short courses, and with them, I did like level three, level four, level five. Then I've done level seven, which is equivalent to graduation here, and then now I'm pursuing MBA. So I'm still studying actually. So
Great.
things are different, things are changed, but obviously, I believe education is really important. I mean, even at this stage, I think, and I went back to education. But one thing I did on the side, I've been doing courses in filmmaking as well. I'm doing um, studies related to video productions and video editing and everything. So I was, whatever my passion was, whenever I stopped back in 2000, I continued doing that on the side as well.
Wonderful, wonderful. Actually, the main thing is that you're doing what you really wanted to do, because
Yeah,
that is something, a great happiness and great satisfaction.
indeed.
Uh,
Yeah.
when we, when we talk about career counseling, and especially uh, this question rises that, a student has different choice, wants to do something, while the parents have, different thing planned for him.
Yeah, one thing is, I don't blame parents, because the thing is, this is the way the society, this is the way our society is working. Like जैसे हम कहते हैं भीड़ चाल है एक बंदा एक तरफ लगता है तो हम सारे कहते हैं कि everybody should get into that field. लेकिन I've been into career counseling for over 3 years, just over 3 years now, and whoever I speak to, whichever child I speak to, I first ask them this question, that like what they want to do, what do they feel is better, like what they will be good at, and then the career counseling. I actually try to counsel the parents rather than the students, and I've been successful in that. I've actually convinced a lot of parents uh, by telling them this is right for your child, and they are thankful. I mean, it's too early, Abhi, to say okay, whatever they've achieved in life yet or not, but obviously they will be, because I'm sure, inshallah, they will. So, in terms of what to choose for your studies, is actually what you feel confident at, what you feel comfortable, whatever you're comfortable with. I'd suggest everyone, all the students who want to study further, it's like they need to go through whatever they are comfortable with, instead of what's been forced up on them.
Very much right. You're right. But still, don't you see, as you said, that uh, the country like Pakistan and all these South Asian countries have same kind of dynamics, that where the middle class especially focuses towards something what can get them job, and there a kind of problem starts that
Yes, I know, because again, as I said, because this is the society we're living in at the moment, and they being a doctor or being an engineer is a label, or being an accountant is a label of having a good lifestyle. But it's not that case anymore. They're like, there's so many other professions which people are doing really well and making money as well. Because it's just the thing, like you're getting into a profession, or getting in a like if there are, say, 100,000 spaces, jobs available, and then there are 200,000 doctors. Doctors will end up jobless as well, or engineers will end up jobless as well. So if everybody becomes an engineer, or if everybody becomes a doctor, it's not gonna help.
very true, very true. uh, how do you see the role of career counseling in one's life? because see, especially when I just tried to recall my memory, that I wanted to go for the university studies, and the level of career counseling was this. Uh, Even I say that my parents could not help in that regard. Uh, the level of career counseling was this, that I had to choose a subject which was most difficult for me. So I thought, the most difficult one is the best one. So I went for it, and again I had to leave it as you did, and then I had to choose something else what I wanted to do. So what is the role of it in one's life?
Right. Okay. Because I tell you what, it's the same thing with me as well, and it's the way back in the days. I think now it's very flexible, but back in the days, um, the courses or the subjects were set as well. Like if in pre-medical or pre-engineering or general science or arts, whatever subjects you take, the subjects, um, the variety of subjects were limited. Like I wanted to take French, or any other language, but I had to take maths as well. I hated maths, but I had to take it because there was no other option which was working out to be, um, like which would work with that. So either then I would say, okay, I'm an art student, but I didn't want it to be called an art student. So I said, okay, I'm a general science student now because I'm studying maths and stats as well. So I'm a general science student. I mean, I liked statistics. Statistics is a beautiful subject. I mean, maths itself is a beautiful subject as well. But I never fancied studying maths because since my childhood, that was one of my weakest subjects. So, um, but I had to take it because there was no choice. So coming back to your question. Um, Career counselor, in our society, in like in South Asian communities, when the child reaches O levels or metric, when it comes to that point, every family member is a career counselor. I mean, effectively, they're not, but they will be giving you all sorts of advice. So यार ये कर ले, यार नहीं नहीं तू ये कर ले, ये ज्यादा बेहतर है तेरे लिए, तू ये कर ले. So everybody is it's similarly when it comes to politics, हम सारे politician हैं. When it comes to so basically, a role of a career counselor comes in hand because they're counseling the student and they're counseling the parents as well. Because what I need to do as a career counselor, I need to draw a roadmap for the student, and I need to draw a roadmap for the parents as well, right? And I need to convince the parents that, look, this is what he's here now, and if he's doing this successfully, which your child likes doing, he will be better off, or he'll be well off in X amount of years. Universities here they have the career advice lines. They have helplines. They speak to you before you actually get into the course. They'll ask you questions. They'll ask you, um, that you have to prove that you are eligible for this course, and you are worthy of this course. So you have to give in interviews as well to get into a course, and then the counselor will tell you if they think that this course is not for you. They will tell you, look, you need to reconsider your choices. That way, I think it's very important to have a career counselor.
She, uh, I remember that, many years back, uh, I had a chance to observe the British education system, where I saw that, the career counseling starts from very early years. When a child is, enrolled in a school, even doesn't know, the spellings for the career counseling, and then further on is being kept under that observation. And then once, before reaching to O levels, the child knows what to select, whether should go for these subjects of his choice, whether go for even the technical education.
Yeah.
So can, divert at the right. While as I said that, uh, what do we have? We have the problem that when a child even reaches to the standard 9 equal to O levels or intermediate still is confused what to do, what not to do.
Yeah.
So, uh, what do you say about the right time to start providing them career counseling?
Basically, now the thing is, here it comes. If the parents want to give their input and they want that, okay, we want our child to become XYZ, but they need to keep a very close eye on the child when they're growing up. What are their interests? What they like doing? What they don't like doing? What are they comfortable with? What they're not comfortable with? So basically, then to um, to judge the child's future from there. But if I want my child to become an engineer, I think what I would do then, I would start creating things which from a very early age, which will be helpful for them to make their mind, yes, this is for them. So start giving them tools, give them a free hand. Okay, play with this, and so on and so forth. If they want their kids to be an IT professional, give them a computer at an early age, and you can take it from there. A very classic example in Pakistan is of Arfa Karim. I was speaking to their parents, and they said he was very young, about 6, 7 years old, and she had this interest in computers. And her father went an extra mile and um, got her a computer at home, and then she started working on it. But she wanted to take some classes, and then he took her to take coaching classes for computers. I mean, a very early age. She's only 7, 8 years old. So the parents, if a parent is seeing a potential in a child, they need to encourage the child as well, and they need to provide the support in that regards. That okay, this is what you like doing. We'll try to make things easier for you, and to obviously build your interest further. So that's how I mean it could be done, but um, sometimes it can change as well. Maybe at 10 years old, my interest is computers. Maybe when I turn 16, my interest is arts. That's not a problem. It's just like at that time, it's really important for a career counselor to come in, because to identify exactly what a child wants to do and what's in their mind. Because I might wanted to become an engineer when I was 10, and when I was 16, I changed my mind because I found some subjects hard. Maybe I didn't like physics, maybe I didn't like maths. So that's when the career counselor comes in, and then they highlight or identify, um, is it because they're scared of studies and they're choosing arts, or do they really have an interest in studying arts? So they are two different things. So that's the job of a career counselor, to identify the right thing out of the student, to identify really if that student wants uh, to get into that field, or is just trying to escape uh, the education.
Great, great. How do you see career counseling in Pakistani institutional system, in Pakistani educational system?
At the moment, is next to none, I would say. But as I said, everyone in Pakistan is a career counselor. So it's getting there, but again, that's what I'm saying. Because what happens, especially with the private institutions, it's all about numbers. They want numbers. They're not worried about um, what are they getting. They want numbers, so they have a target of 500 enrolled students, and that's what they'll be targeting at. They won't see it's Sajlal or it's Atiq or it's someone, whoever it is. They will just see as numbers. So for them, it's numbers. For government institution, where I see a lot of is a, so but the thing is, it's like this is something which is becoming the trends are changing around the world. So even in Pakistan, obviously, that we do see that career counselors are coming in, or they're becoming a part of institutions. But it's not very common at the moment. But it should be in the next few years, I believe, that there will be a special. positions in each universities of career counselors as well.
Uh, Very nice. Ajlal bhai, how do you compare the career counseling uh, impact in UK and then back to Pakistan?
In as I said, like it's very different. It's same. I would say if it comes to personal things, it will be same. But um, over here, like as I said, if parents are seeing an interest in a child, if they think the child is interested in this thing, they will encourage that um, their child. But obviously, if as a parents in Pakistan, they will try to discourage, or they, will, if not discourage, I'd say they might. Again, as I said, for them, there are few professions which are guaranteed of a healthy or like a good financial benefit. Either it's a government job, so you do CSF and you become a government officer, like you become a bureaucrat, or like if you want to do a job, then you need to be a doctor, or you need to be an engineer, or you need to be an accountant. So for them, it's they think that these are the jobs which are paid, uh, which are the only well-paid jobs, but it's not the case. As I said, there's so many other jobs that have been created. There's so many other things which have come in. I'll actually relate this to the showbiz industry. Like back in the days, uh, if there is a director of a film, of a drama, or of a project, they had the responsibility of doing everything. Like they had the responsibility of doing the cast, like who's going to be in the cast, who's going to be in the drama as an actor or actress, and or who is going to be doing the lights, or who's going to be doing the camera, who's going to be doing and everything. But now, like if you look at Hollywood, they had a director for everything. They have a film director, then they have an art director, then they have a casting director, they have a costume designer, and everything, so on and so forth. So in Pakistan industry now, the concept of casting managers or casting directors have come in last few years. It's been in there now. So the trend is changing. So now all the big production houses, they're looking, or they're referring to casting agencies, or they're referring to casting directors as well. So these positions have become available. Back in the days, there was only one position, which was of a director, and they were doing 10 people's job. So now there are 10 people, 10 people have got jobs because of this thing.
Great. Uh, Very nice. Dear viewers, hope you are enjoying the talk of Ajlal Bukhari Sahab. Really, very much need of the time and very much need for the youth, especially focusing this subject of career counseling. I would request you, if you have any questions, you may leave in the comment box. So at the end, we can take your questions as well, or we may even proceed our discussion on your question basis. Ajlal bhai, I would like to know about the role of career counseling and what actually career counselor does to the student, please.
Okay, as I said earlier as well, what career counselor does, basically, the role of a career counselor is to identify um, students' needs and then tailor the future or a package for that student or for that learner. So if I'm a career counselor, a learner comes up to me, and because I've had this, I'll give you real life experiences. Because I had a student come up to me and he said, I wanted to go in arts, I wanted to study this, and my parents want me to study something else. So I said, okay, that's fine. And I got his results, previous results. I've seen his what subjects he's good at. You can tell obviously from your results. You can tell which subjects you are good at, which subjects you are poor at. And then I worked out. I said, why don't you study marketing, because you've done so well in marketing. So why don't you specialize, or why don't you do something in this field? It's a good a good position, good, like, and you can actually get well paid jobs as well. And he said, okay, that's fine. And, it's not just, I mean, I just made a 2 minute story, but it took me over an hour to go through that and convince them. But obviously, eventually, he agreed to what I said. And then I said, if you're happy with that, and if you're confident you want to do that, I can actually speak to your parents and I can try and convince them as well. So I can tell them the same thing, which I've told you, and I can explain them everything from scratch again. And it did work out. And he's in Germany. He's studying business and marketing. So yeah, it worked out.
Very, very nice. Congratulations. Success soon.
Yeah,
There is
it's
a question.
see people succeeding. If it's always nice to see people taking our advice. It's always nice to see and taking our advice positively. I mean, it's sometimes it's not my gain in that, but I feel it's my duty because this is something which I lacked when I was in that age, when I was going through that phase. There was no one to convince my parents to make to show them what we could see, the future, or but anyway, that's fine. um Wherever I am, alhamdulillah, I'm happy. So that's another thing, that's the main thing. um I'm enjoying doing what I'm doing, because before, like as I mentioned earlier as well, for about 15 years I've been into business development, I've been into sales, I've been into marketing. But it's just you're working, yes, you're making money, yes, but you're not getting that satisfaction. It's not there. And I always did, I always feel satisfied by helping people. And coming back into education, that's about 3 years, almost over 3 years ago now, when I was in Pakistan. And I came out with this opportunity with Superior University. And I thought at that time it was new thing for me, career counseling, but I really enjoyed doing that, and I felt so content. I felt so much happier, in helping people making their minds up. So it's just and it's rewarding, not just financially. It's rewarding, it gives you that peace that you're helping someone.
Self satisfaction.
Yeah, especially when you were not privileged enough back in the days to get this sort of support. And then obviously, I worked for a business school in Germany. I was the national manager for Pakistan. So I was recruiting for Pakistan from Pakistan. So I was counseling students from Pakistan to study in Germany. And then I had, basically, I started English coaching in Pakistan when I was there. So about when I came back, I set up the similar sort of business, I would say, but services rather, not business. Services I started here, and by the name of Englistan, and I've set up that. We take online English classes, and we take basically career counseling.
Excellent. Very nice. Amazing. अजलाल भाई, सवाल है आमना की तरफ से। पूछ रही हैं कि हम स्टूडेंट्स की करियर काउंसलिंग कैसे कर सकते हैं? क्या हर वो बंदा जो कि सीनियर है, क्या वो जूनियर की करियर काउंसलिंग कर सकता है? या करियर काउंसलर बनने के लिए कोई स्पेशल क्वालिफ़िकेशन होनी चाहिए, स्पेशल नॉलेज होनी चाहिए?
क्वालिफिकेशन, ऐसे टू बी वेरी ऑनेस्ट, क्वालिफिकेशन जो है वो अब इंट्रोड्यूस हो चुकी है। अभी जो है काउंसलिंग इज itself a subject now, and you can specialize in that as well. I thought of doing that, but sometimes you feel it's too late to do something because with Alhamdulillah, my experience of working, I started working, as I said, I started working at the age of 7. So my experience, my work experience, my professional experience is uh, almost 32 years. So, although I'm only 38, but so my work experience is about 32 years. So basically, अगर आपके सवाल का मैं जवाब दूं तो आपको स्पेशल क्वालिफिकेशन नहीं चाहिए। आपको जो चाहिए वो चाहिए विजन। आपको चाहिए थोड़ा सा, लाइक बेसिकली फ्यूचर ओरिएंटेड होना चाहिए आपको. यू नॉट जस्ट सीइंग. देखें, अगर आप एक स्टूडेंट है जो अभी मैट्रिक कर रहा है या ओ लेवल्स कर रहा है, एंड देन यू आर लुकिंग एट देम बिकॉज द एजुकेशन इज गोना टेक देम एटलीस्ट 6 more years. तो आप आज का ट्रेंड देख के उसको गाइडेंस नहीं दे सकते, बिकॉज 6 years टाइम द ट्रेंड माइट बी डिफरेंट. तो आपको फ्यूचर का पता होना चाहिए कि व्हाट विल वर्क इन 6 years टाइम. Because I will say, in early 2000, I mean, I was very young in that time. Like obviously in FA, I was doing my first year or second year. लेकिन उस टाइम पे MBA जो थे वो बहुत ज्यादा हो रहे थे. Everybody was doing MBA, 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 and then post 2000, जैसे ही 2000 गुजरा, MBA बेचारे रुलना शुरू हो गए. And then हर कोई जो था वो IT में, IT, 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 and like it's like, so basically if you look at it, you need to see, or you need to be prepared for that change. आपको देखना है कि वर्ल्ड डायरेक्शन की जो शिफ्ट है वो किस तरफ जा रही है. uh, वो that is something really important. What career will be like, thinking, coming to the situation we are in now, like COVID-19 situation. The people who have done maybe 4 years ago, who've chosen IT as a career again, will be very successful again, because now after this everything is turning digital, everything is going online, everything is going, even the classes, even the universities are shifting, so everyone is shifting online. So basically somebody who chose this career 5 years ago, they will be very happy now. Digital marketing, if somebody wanted to do that, digital marketing would have been the ideal subject, whoever has chosen that few years back. Maybe like in 2010, 12, it may not have been the best career, but if you think of it now, this is the best time, this is the best career. So you have to be future, like prepared for future. You have to see, like where the world is going, where the shift is going. So that's something which you need. As an elder, or like जो question था उसकी तरफ अगर मैं आता हूँ, as an elder or as an slightly more experienced person than your younger siblings or maybe younger cousins or whoever, बिल्कुल आप उनको काउंसल कर सकते हैं. उसमें काउंसलिंग में देखें, there are so many other things. Counseling is not just which career to choose. आपका किसी को पढ़ाई की तरफ लेके आना भी जो है वो भी काउंसलिंग है. If somebody is not interested in studying, and then you convince them to study. कोई जो है, जिस तरह हमारे यंगस्टर्स जो होते हैं वो फिरते रहते हैं, कुछ नहीं करते और पढ़ाइयाँ कर रहे होते हैं, और वो वाले बच्चे जो आखिरी 2 दिनों में किताबें खोलते हैं और फिर भी पास हो जाते हैं. So we need to drive those sort of students into education and then say, like, look, if you, अगर आप 2 दिन में पढ़ के पास हो सकते हो, it means that you can do it. तो why not just start doing it from day one? अगर आप day one से करेंगे तो फिर आपको समझ भी आएगी. 2 दिन में तो आप रट्टा लगा के पास हो जाते हैं, लेकिन अगर आप पूरा 2 साल में या पूरा 1 साल लगाते हैं किसी चीज में, तो आप फिर better perform कर सकते हैं. Not just you will pass, you will understand as well what you are studying. That's something really important, to understand what we are studying. क्योंकि एक ये बड़ी interesting, recently I came across this thing कि, I mean, माशाल्लाह, पाकिस्तान में हजारों लाखों बच्चे ग्रेजुएट होते हैं, हजारों लाखों बच्चे हर साल ग्रेजुएट होते हैं, लेकिन why we are not creating like legends in the fields? Why जो वो पुराने लोग ही हैं वही सामने आते हैं, who are like डॉक्टर अब्दुल कदीर खान, अब क्यों नहीं आते पाकिस्तान में, अब क्यों नहीं पैदा होते? और इस तरह के बड़े बड़े जो नाम हैं हमारे इन इन द फील्ड्स ऑफ साइंस, इवन एंड इन द फील्ड्स ऑफ, लाइक व्हाई कैन नॉट वी इनोवेट थिंग्स? और अगर हम इनोवेशंस करते हैं स्मॉलर लेवल पे, व्हाई डू नॉट दे गेट recognized globally? So there is some lack in somewhere.
Very true. Very true.
Hopefully I've answered that question. I think it was who,
Oh, very well. Very well. I guess it is elaborated very well, explained very well. There's another question here from Maruf Ali. He says that how we do our best to show parents that it is our interest and we want to do something great in that field. As we were discussing earlier as well, obviously, if a child is given a chance to, select the field according to its choice, then definitely would love to give the 100%. There will be. So, how a child can in that age convince, because you have your own self experience, it's pretty hard.
It's hard, but the thing is, I'll tell you what. I mean, now the time has changed. Now your children can talk in front of you. Back in the days, we were too scared. If your parents have said something, that's it. You cannot talk back. But now the things have changed, so you can actually try and convince. But the thing is, you have to try and convince them with logics, not with
Emotion.
just say that, "Oh, I want to do it. That's it. It's not. This is not it." You have to convince them with a logic why you want to choose this. Because again, coming back to the same point, when I said I might be saying I want to do study this because I find it easier. So it's not that I want to study it because I like doing it. I only want to do it. I know that I will pass it. That's it. So that's not the case. I mean, I need to convince them with a logic. I need to convince them, I need to give them a future map. I will need to give them my 10 years plan. If I want to convince my parents now, if I think now, back in the days, I didn't have this idea. But if I had made a 5 year roadmap for myself or a 10-year roadmap for myself, and I showed my parents, look, I am 16 now, and by the time of 21, I'd have achieved this. And by the time I'll turn 25, I will be doing this, you know? So, you have to show them, visualize things. And that's the most important part. Seeing is believing. We like to believe things, what we see, instead of what we like. If I tell you that I will give you £100,000, but it's just I'm telling you. If I have £100,000 in my hands, or forget about £100,000, I'll say if I have ₹1,000 मेरे हाथ में है, मैं कहूंगा कि मैं आपको ₹1,000 दूंगा. ठीक है? You will work hard for that. If I hide that money and I say मैं तुम्हें ₹1,000 दूंगा, तुम पास हो जाओ या जो भी whatever, you will not be that motivated, right? Your motivation will come when you visually see something. So if you visualize, if you make a plan, if you make a roadmap, and you show it to them, you take them there. जैसे फिल्मों में हम कहते हैं we go flashback चलाते हैं. तो हम एक we just go through that. We show them this. Look, this is what I want to do. This is my plan. This is stop A. This is stop B. This is stop C. This is stop D. And this is what I want to be achieved. When I turn 25 or when I turn 30, I'd I'd be here. Yes, why not? They will believe you. They will definitely believe you because they are seeing what you are seeing. You are actually, but as I said, why we fail to convince our parents because we do not convince them enough. We cannot convince them by just saying, "Oh नहीं मैं ये कर लूंगा, मैं ये कर लूंगा, ऐसे हो जाएगा, वैसे हो जाएगा." इस तरह नहीं होता. It doesn't work like that. So if I do my homework, if I really am interested in that field, that would not be difficult for me to prepare, a roadmap that where I want to be.
Excellent. Very nice. Ajlal bhai, how do you see? There's a question from Sayyid Sabit Ali Shah. He asked that, what expertise would be most required? What professions would be at the peak after the COVID-19 era?
At the moment, looking at the situation, digital marketing, I anything related to computers, it's a hot cake at the moment. But again, as I said, what's gonna be a hot cake in 5 years' time? I don't know yet. Um, so we need to look into this. Basically, now for next few years, I will say it's my assumption at the moment, looking at this current situation and looking at the government saying that this will be back again every year. So COVID-19 will be coming back every year. So it will be COVID-20, it will be COVID-21, it will be COVID-22, and until 2025. or 2023, sorry, 2023. So next 3 years, it will keep coming back again. If we look at this situation now, we have shifted everything online. All the marketings, everything is gone online. A lot of bigger companies, um, they're going bankrupt because of the fact that they cannot run digitally. So yes, the time is the time of digital marketing, is time of computers. This is the time for people who are doing something in this field. Um, and again, so maybe next 3 to 4 years, 5 years, it will be, and we will see new innovations in this field as well because of the fact that people will try and new things. Who would have known about Zoom last year? I didn't know about Zoom, even if it existed. Nobody knew it, right? Well, obviously, people who were professionally they were using it, but now Zoom is everybody's life. My daughter is getting her lectures in on Zoom. I am giving my university lectures and I'm attending my university on Zoom as well. I'm working on Zoom as well. My daily meetings are on Zoom now. So, like things have changed. Probably back in the days, we only knew Skype. That's it. But Skype was only to talk to the family who don't have just to see each other. But now, you can literally do anything. Virtual interviews are happening, virtual classes are happening. So, um, next few years' time, I think the next 5 years or so are uh, computer. Artificial intelligence is something which is going to be very much the future.
Again, relevant to that IT,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
Uh, I, what about, I see that, the role of medical professionals, especially when I see in the context, I know in UK, the profession of nursing is, worshipped even because the packages are very high, facilities are high. But back here in Pakistan, it is not given, the really deserving kind of honor as well as the packages. So do you see that this is also going to
It will change definitely again because the thing is, I tell you something. Every time there is a shift in basically every 10 years, every 20 years, there will be a shift, a major shift in the employment in terms of um, probably back in the days, or I mean, as you mentioned, in Pakistan or in the subcontinent, nursing is not a very well paid job. People think, okay, कुछ नहीं है करने को तो चले nurse बन जाते हैं, something like that. या कुछ नहीं है करने को तो वकील बन जाते हैं. That's the easiest, things to do. But these professions, the value of these professions uh, are made after these sort of incidents, I would say. Now people will value the importance of nurses. Now people will value the importance of doctors as well. Again, I mean, this is another profession which will be having, more employments in as well. But at the same time, I think biosciences will be something which will be coming in handy in next after 5 years or in next 5 years. So if you're into biotechnology, if you're into biosciences, if you're into medicines, not just doctors, if you're into medicines field, pharmacists will be um, be doing well in the future as well. And especially if you come up with something, you never know, you might come up with a cure to these diseases or these viruses as well.
great, great. Afzal bhai, how do you see that? We see that once a person is admitted in any course, and career counseling remain behind. Now the person is in the mid of the career somewhere. What would you like to suggest such kind of students? What should they do, please?
Can you repeat the question? I think I've just missed it. Can you repeat the question?
My question is that, see, there are people who have the availability of career counseling. We can guide them, we can suggest them. But there are some people who are already, in the middle of their courses, or they are, they have started, they have paid the huge fees, and now. they want to do it. So, what would you like to suggest to them?
Right. Okay. Now, unfortunately, in Pakistan, it's not the case. You cannot pull out of something. But in the UK or if you're somewhere else, you get this privilege to shift your credit hours to a different course you wish to. But what I suggested in the past, I mean, I have experienced this as well, and some student who is doing something else, and they are convinced that this is something for them. Like the school I was working for, the business school I was working for, they had MBA, masters in engineering management, and then they had the courses like, so if somebody who's studying engineering, but they wanted to become a businessman instead of engineering, so they wanted to quit engineering and they wanted to get into a different field. They wanted to get into marketing or business development. So there are courses which are designed for students like those as well. What I normally advise these students, like, complete what you're doing, because obviously it's very difficult to leave in the middle. So if you have done your 2 years already of engineering, you shouldn't waste, because otherwise, if you consider Pakistan as an example, your 2 years will be wasted. So obviously, I don't want, or you don't want to waste your 2 years. So the best thing is that complete your 2 years, and then come to the point when, okay, you wanted to do probably MBA. Get into an MBA. There's nobody stopping you from doing an MBA after getting your degree. You can do it. um, but obviously, again, as I said, if some it's job of the counselor to identify whether the learner is trying to escape the engineering and he's saying, I want to study marketing because I find it easy. That's not the thing. If you're finding it easy and you want to switch careers, that shouldn't be the case, right? Yes, if you say, I love marketing and I'm stuck with engineering, that's a different case. But if you say, engineering is difficult, marketing is easy, that's why I want to do marketing, not engineering, then you need to counsel that student more, to convince them to like engineering, to like what they're doing at the moment, create interest for them in what they're doing at the moment, and then again, as I said, show them, make them visualize the future. So, say for example, you complete your engineering, 2 years time, 3 years time, you will be an engineer. Things may be different in 3 years time. Your life scenario would be changed probably. Your situation, financial situation, mental situation could be changed in next 3 years. So you may forget about marketing after 3 years. Maybe your interest in engineering is developed in 3 years. But the thing is, we as a counselor or even parents or anybody should not discourage them, that why you want to quit engineering and why you want to get into uh, business or management or marketing now. Tell them, show them, okay, you know what? Complete your engineering and we'll get you enrolled in MBA so you can do MBA. So you'll have a dual degree and that will have a more value. So that way, I think they will be convinced, the student or the learner would be convinced. And at the same time, you're actually saving them from collapsing as well, because because at one point, if you're thinking too much, your brain freezes. You forget about what your plans were. You forget about everything. You say, okay, you know what, I quit, I don't want to do anything. So that is the more dangerous situation. So we need to tackle that by agreeing with them. So we have to agree with the learners, agree with the students, at the same time, agree with the parents as well, because they are the ones who are paying.
Wonderful, wonderful, brilliant. Viewers, I hope that you people are enjoying. You people are, having a lot of information. If you have still have any question, we have few minutes left. You may leave the question in the comment box. We can ask. Ajlal bhai, I have a question that, see, some people, as we see that they start with, like as you said, engineering, but once they end up They don't want to work as an engineer. They want to start a business. And I see in many cases, many engineers, many doctors, many other professionals, they go for, the job other than their first degree. So, what would you like to suggest them that even if they want to do something else, what they should do so they can be at least upgraded? Like, if somebody has done the engineering and after that wants to do business, so what would you like to suggest such kind of person? What should he do so he can, even run the business smoothly?
As I said, basically for students of someone who's done engineering and they want to get into business, study MBA. That's not a problem. There's no harm studying MBA. And um, it just came in my mind. It's a very thing from the movie Three Idiots when the guy who's done engineering and then he's done MBA and then he's working in a bank. So you can do anything, literally. You could work in a bank after doing engineering degree. That's not a problem. It's just like, again, it comes to where you are satisfied, where you are happy, where you feel confident, where you feel comfortable. That's the main thing. That's what matters. What it matters is what you're thinking at the moment. Again, as I said uh, earlier on as well, if I need to, because because this is the problem in our society in subcontinent, the parents do not approve to certain things, and it's our job to convince them, and not by arguing with them, by convincing them, by making them visualize, as I said earlier as well. Just make a roadmap, show them, okay, maybe their parents wanted them to become an engineer, and but they wanted to do MBA. So you show your parents, okay, you know what? This is the engineering's degree. You wanted me to become an engineer. Now give me 2 years. I wanted to, do MBA. So give me another 2 years. I'll do MBA, and then I'll decide, or then we'll decide what we want to do. So there's always a easier way. We do not have to have hard talks about things. We can find middle ways as well to tackle issues or tackle problems as and when they arise.
Excellent. I guess you wanted to show us some video to our viewers you were talking about earlier.
No, 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 no. It was from a, just yeah, I just used a reference of that movie. I don't have that video. No.
All right, that's okay. Right. At the end, I would like to have your special message to the youth of the world, please. What would you like to?
Um, Again, as I said, think very carefully, or choose very carefully what you want to do, and if you are confident enough to do something, just carry on, put your head down then and do it. And because the thing is, if I have chosen a career for myself, if I choose a career for myself instead of my parents have chosen a career for me, I will not be blaming anyone. I will be blaming just myself if I choose a career of my choice. If I choose a career of somebody else's choice, I will start pointing fingers. Look, you told me to do this and now I'm struggling. You told me to do this and that and now I'm struggling. So obviously you know, um, choose something, but choose it sensibly. Do a lot of research before you choose your career, because then you will. Sometimes there's no way back from something, something you've chosen. But if you have chosen something, stick by it, continue with it. Maybe in 5 years' time, you're not finding it interesting, or you think it's not for you. There's never too late to shift your careers. You can always do that. That's not a problem. World now has changed completely. Back in the days, yes, an engineer was labeled as an engineer, a doctor was labeled as a doctor, or a lawyer is labeled as a lawyer. You cannot do anything else, or you cannot get into other professions. But now the world has changed. So if you're a doctor, you can be a businessman as well. If you're an engineer, you can be a businessman as well. If you're a lawyer, You can study medicine as well as, so there's nobody stopping you from studying anything which you like to study. So things, stay positive, stay confident, and try and convince. Um, Sorry, stay positive, stay confident, and try and convince your parents by giving them examples or by showing them, what you want to do instead of by just telling them by what you're doing.
Excellent. So kind of you. Dear viewers, we had a very, very special guest with us today, Mr. Ajlal Bukhari, who has shared his experiences. Would say that the life learning experiences with us on the career counseling, which is really very important, very, very important subjects for us all. I would request Ajlal Saab that please, in the future, inshallah, we will be wanting more sessions, more interviews of yours on filmmaking, on leadership, on career development, on youth development. So I hope you will be keep sparing little time to us.
Sure, inshallah.
Thank you. So nice of you. Thank you very much, viewers. I would like to remind you tomorrow we have uh, interview sessions. At daytime, we'll be taking the interview of Director, India Study Center, Brigadier Retired Saif Malik Saab at 3 o'clock. And then next session, we have the former Home Minister of Balochistan, Mr. Sardar Sarfraz Bukti. So that is at 9 o'clock. So 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock. So I would love that you should spread the message and everybody should come with as many questions you people have. Thank you very much to you all. Thank you very much, Ajlal Bhai, again. So
Thank
nice of you.
you.
Thank
Welcome.
you.
Okay, Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz. Pakistan Zindabad.
Zindabad.